Caifan is cheap, tastes like our grandmother's cooking, and can be very nutritious if you don't always choose the 4-meat dishes like I do. With so many stalls in Singapore selling dozens of dishes daily, Caifan easily feeds thousands of people in Singapore. But have you ever wondered where all these ingredients come from? 你们的鸡蛋跟菜是从哪里来的？
还不知道啦。
蛋跟菜是在马来西亚进口，
有部分是新加坡。
新加坡哪里来？
新加坡哪里来哦？这个不清楚的，新加坡。
This might be a surprise, but a growing number of produce actually comes from local farms. But why? The answer to that is food security. Food security refers to the ease of access to quality ingredients with no potential dangers of disruption or shortages. To achieve this, it is imperative that we diversify the number of food sources we have. To attain food source diversification, a dual-pronged approach is needed. The first of which is to import food from as many countries as possible so that when any supply is disrupted, we won't be too affected. But while importing is crucial, there's no substitute for being completely self-sufficient. This brings us to the second strategy, increasing the amount of produce from local farms. Quite surprisingly, I found that there are around 220 farms in Singapore growing or rearing local produce such as fish, eggs, and vegetables. These farms are situated all over Singapore. From Ulu Chua Chu Kang to rooftop gardens of multi-storey car parks, there won't be one too far away from wherever you are. But how much food can these farms possibly produce in land-scarce Singapore? I did some research and found out that 14% of vegetables and 10% of our fish demands were met locally in 2019. That totaled to over 17,000 tonnes of produce. 17,000 tonnes of produce might sound like a lot, but the truth is, it barely covers the amount needed to satisfy our Caifan needs. In 2019, over 90% of the raw ingredients in our food were imported. There's not been any serious problems so far, so why should we care about the importance of food security? As Minister Massago Zulkifli mentioned, all it takes is a flood or drought in Vietnam's Mekong River Delta for 50% of Asia's rice supply to be disrupted. Not being responsible for the production of our own supply of food can also leave us susceptible to political pressures from other countries. Take Newater for example. On separate occasions in 1965 and 1998, political leaders from our neighbouring country of Malaysia commented that they would consider cutting off the water supply from Johor to Singapore. Being under that sort of political pressure and living in fear of having a basic necessity taken away from us really put things into perspective. It was only relieved when the first Newater plant was completed in 2000. Today, it accounts for up to 40% of our water needs, and it's expected to rise to 55% by 2060. This further reduces our reliance on Malaysia for water and leaves us less susceptible to supply disruptions. This is why our goal to produce 30% of our food consumption by 2030 is so vital. Obviously, not all of us can start our own farms, but we can play our part by buying local produce whenever possible. Doing so would help to sustain the demand of these food items, which in turn keep the lights on at these farms to produce more for us. Plus, a shorter distance from farm to Caifan stall can only mean that our food has a smaller carbon footprint and will be fresher than ever before. Even if it might cost a little bit more now, it's still a small price to pay to ensure we attain food security. What's more, we could even tell the Caifan stall auntie that the fish she fries every day came from a floating fish farm in Changi and that we all helped to rear it. It might sound like a stretch, but if we all played our small individual roles, it wouldn't be that far off from the truth.